Have you ever had a dream of what you would do if you had a different career than you do now? I don't know why I said it like that.
Have you ever had a dream that you had?
When I was younger, I was a huge fan of mysteries. Watched a ton of Scooby-Doo, played Guilty Party on the Wii with my sister, many rounds of Clue. I also had a massive obsession with the Professor Layton series at the time. Diabolical Box is spectacular. All of this to say, I once upon a time had dreamed to become a detective. I loved figuring things out, taking clues and piecing things together. It's so much fun. I still to this day watch mystery shows and anime and play lots of fun detective and puzzle games. So I wanted to make this video today to tell y'all not just about my secret passion, but also share with all my fellow sleuths out there some great games to play that I've enjoyed. Also to rant about my growing obsession with Detective Conan. I started a couple months ago and it seems like there's just so much, but I'm caught up in One Piece, so I truly have no right to say that I don't have the patience. Let's just go game by game and say what I love about them. Spread the joy. Starting off with my most recent obsession that I've been absolutely living for, we gotta talk about the Ace Attorney franchise. Objection! Sorry, I just had to do it. For those of you who have lived under a rock, the Ace Attorney series is an adventure and visual novel game produced by Capcom that first released in the early 2000s. In the original trilogy, you play as Phoenix Wright, a budding lawyer who is taking on all of these crazy cases as he delves into the mysteries and tries to find the truth. The original trilogy is fierce, and honestly, out of any game I'm gonna mention today, I'm gonna recommend this one the most. I mean, you've got super silly characters, great dialogue, interesting mysteries, and step ladders. What more could you want? For the gameplay of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, you'll go on to investigate crime scenes, interrogate witnesses, and compile evidence to use in an eventual trial where the truth of the case and the fate of your client will be revealed. In the trials, you'll cross-examine testimonies from people who are literally always lying, and use your evidence to combat contradictions to prove your client's innocence, while also trying to find the real killer, because every case is a murder case. That's crazy. You will not be unopposed though. You'll be constantly fighting against a judge who eats up lies like dinner time, and a prosecutor who is strangely always hot, and it's very distracting. I swear they do it on purpose. I live for the aha moments that come throughout these trials and through these games. There are some times where I am mid-trial and I just happen to look at a piece of evidence in the court record or hear something in the witness's testimony, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is a game changer. Everything has changed. I know it's you. You did it. And just how do I prove it? So for a mystery and detective enjoyer myself, this game is perfect because you are not only trying to investigate and find the truth and piece things together, but also it's just really silly and fun. Who would have thought a game about being a lawyer would be so fun? Because I've certainly heard the opposite from anyone who has gone to law school. Although what's actually hilarious about this game is that I've heard from several sources that it is nothing like our actual legal system. So the accuracy is not so much. I wouldn't say that you should be playing Ace Attorney and going off to law school thinking that you're absolutely prepared and you could just skip a grade. Like, I don't think that that's the case. But you should absolutely play this game, and like I said before, if you're gonna play any game that I mentioned today and you love mysteries, I think this is 10 out of 10 something that you need to pick up immediately. And that not only goes for the original trilogy, that also goes for the Apollo Justice trilogy, that goes for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, that goes for the Edgeworth Investigations. Literally any Ace Attorney title, get it, girl. Get it. It's amazing. And also the fact that so many of the games that I'm going to be discussing in today's video have bad inspiration or are kind of based on by Ace Attorney. It's crazy. I mean, it just goes to show you how awesome of a series Ace Attorney is and how revolutionary it was in terms of these investigative mystery games. Now, I know this is going to come as quite a shock and quite a surprise to everybody out in the audience today there, folks, but I, NintenDomenic, am a fan of Pokemon. What? Yeah, I know. It's not like pretty much every single video on the channel is Pokemon. So I would be absolutely remiss if I did not talk about Detective Pikachu. I mean, y'all knew it was coming. Detective Pikachu is an adventure mystery game that first came out in 2018 with an eventual sequel coming out for Detective Pikachu Returns in 2023. In this game, you take on the role of detective as Tim Goodman and your sidekick, Detective Pikachu, a adorable Pikachu with an obsession for coffee, just like myself, and a gruff older man's voice interface that's only just a little bit jarring and does indeed take some time getting used to.
Hey, sorry about that. I got tangled up with some Pokemon adoring cuties.
Yeah, I still don't know if I'm used to it. You're investigating a lot of mysteries and odd happenings in Rhyme City, such as this drug called R that seems to be causing a bunch of rampages of Pokemon throughout Rhyme City, as well as trying to find your missing father. So yes, your typical anime plot. Out of any game I'm going to discuss today, I definitely think this one is on the easier end of the difficulty spectrum, but I mean, it is a Pokemon mystery game. What are we really expecting? This is not going to be Sherlock Holmes level mystery solving. I'm just trying to walk around and ask cute little Pokemon questions, okay? And where were you on the night of December 7th? You did it, didn't you? This game has gorgeous visuals and is probably one of the best looking Pokemon games we have ever seen next to new Pokemon Snap, and I really feel like we enter the world of Pokemon in a way that we have never seen before in this game. What also makes this game stand out to me is the way that it handles its mysteries, and that a lot of it takes place really feeling grounded in the world of Pokemon, and that the Pokemon themselves are incorporated into solving these mysteries. You feel so grounded that this is the reality of the world of Pokemon, because a lot of the ways that we're going to be solving these things is through the Pokemon. Who would have thought in a Pokemon mystery game we have to use the Pokemon? We get testimony from Pokemon, we get evidence from Pokemon, we even use some Pokemon to help us investigate crime scenes. This is easily one of the aspects about this game that makes it stand out from any of the others and makes it so unique and so fun. Also, I highly 10 out of 10 recommend that you watch the film Detective Pikachu if you have not yet seen it, because I saw this in theaters and genuinely cried. Like, there were actual tears and liquid coming from my eyeballs. It was just such an amazing time and experience getting to see something like this on the big screen that I feel so much love and nostalgia for, and it definitely was a moment in my life that I will never forget when this movie came out. So Detective Pikachu, yeah, it's pretty great. Definitely not one of the most memorable Pokemon spin-off games, but I definitely think it's at least a good one, especially if you're a Pokemon fan who loves mysteries just like me. The next two games that I wanted to talk about are actually games that I just played recently and were the last mystery game that I played before I picked up the Ace Attorney series. I, of course, have to talk about Famicom Detective Club, The Girl Who Stands Behind, and The Missing Heir. Although these games originally released in the 1980s, I was not around at that point, so I just played the remake versions that just came out on Switch not too long ago. I'm not too sure of any differences that might have been from the original because I've only played these remakes, but from what I could tell, this game is really fun. This essentially is an adventure mystery game as well, like everything else we're discussing in today's video, where you go around examining, showing, taking, asking, all these options you get in this little drop-down menu off to the side, and you're investigating different mysteries depending on which game you're playing. Our protagonist, who is a new assistant detective at an agency, is going around in both cases and just trying to pick up all these clues, talk to witnesses, investigate crime scenes. This game really made me put on my thinking cap, and I read some reviews for this game and I saw that not a lot of people enjoyed the trial and error aspect of this game, but I mean, Phoenix Wright also has that. I like a game that makes me think and that the answer isn't obvious. I mean, just speaking from my own personal experience playing Famicom Detective Club, the amount of times I would wander back and forth between areas talking to different people over and over and over again because I had no idea how to proceed or what I needed to do. I didn't mind it, but I can absolutely understand why some would get frustrated by that. But I love figuring stuff out, girl, okay? I was all about trying to figure out what piece of evidence I needed to find, piecing the mystery together, actually finding who the culprit is. If I absolutely had to pick one that I liked more, I would pick The Girl Who Stands Behind over The Missing Heir, just because I really enjoyed this paranormal aspect of it and finding out this myth of the girl in the mirror standing behind you. And also the twist! The twist! Oh, I loved it. Also, I have not yet gotten the chance to play Emio the Smiling Man yet, so that is on my list as soon as I finish up the Ace Attorney series. That will be played eventually, but I have not yet played it, so no spoilers in the comments. But you can let me know if you liked it if you have played it. I don't see a lot of people talking about these games, and I think that they deserve a lot more attention than they probably get, at least from what I've seen. Every time I talk about this game, no one knows what I'm talking about. So if y'all in the comments love this game, let me know, because I actually really enjoyed it, and if you're a detective lover, this game is probably right up your alley. And plus, you get 3 whole different cases in 3 whole different games. It's great. Next up, we gotta talk about a huge game series, and I'm talking massive. Like, if you don't know what this game series is, I will be shocked. You've probably at least heard of it at this point. Of course, I gotta talk about Danganronpa. Danganronpa Danganronpa. Y'all know what it is. This is a visual novel murder mystery game that first came out in 2010, released by Spike Chunsoft, and this game is crazy. Okay, before I go into literally anything, I gotta talk about this game series is crazy. Insane. The words cannot even describe what it is that you do in this game. Just so I don't spoil the tomfoolery and shenanigans for everybody that wants to play this game for the first time, just to give you a basic overlay, the Danganronpa games primarily focus on a cast of younger teenage characters, most of which who are ultimates, which means that they are really, really good at one particular thing or skill set. For example, we have the ultimate pop star, the ultimate baseball star, lots of stars. We even have this guy, who's the ultimate breeder, and yes, it's not as creepy as it sounds. Now, throughout the Danganronpa series, your cast of ultimates will be placed in many situations to where they are forced to hurt each other. Literally have to resort to murder in order to get out of these awful situations that they are put in. The stakes couldn't be any higher, but in order for them to escape whatever situation they are currently in, depending on the game you're in, they have to get away with the murder. Your Danganronpa experience is split up into 3 parts of life. You have daily life, deadly life, and class trial. Daily life is the portion of the game whenever someone is not currently unalived, and you're just going around hanging out with your buddies, having a good time, giving each other gifts. It's kind of like a dating sim. Then all of a sudden, someone will decide to get a little too big for their britches and they play a little too hard, and then we enter deadly life, which is mainly our investigation period where we're trying to find out who did it. Gather up all the clues, gather up everything that you're gonna need to compete in the class trial. The class trial is where you and all of your classmates are gonna be going around this gigantic circle, all talking about the crime and the mystery and trying to figure out who did it based on the evidence and truth bullets that y'all have. And yes, you heard me correct, truth bullets. That is the way that you solve mysteries in this game, by quite literally shooting evidence through sentences. Yeah, I don't know either. As someone who has played every single game in the Danganronpa series, and I'm also very, very excited for Danganronpa 2x2, the mysteries in this game are top tier. I definitely think that some of these cases are really fun to play. The mysteries, the aha moments, very, very peak. But also, the cast of characters is what makes this game so fun. You grow to love some of these characters, you grow to hate some of these characters, you even get attached to some of them, so when it's their time to go, you get a little sad, and you also start to root for some to be your favorites and survive. It's thrilling, it's emotional, it's wacky, it's Danganronpa. Another game from the same creators of Danganronpa, we have Master Detective Archives Rain Code. Now, this was a game that randomly dropped into my life one day from a Nintendo Direct that I just happened to be watching that day, and I absolutely couldn't wait. First of all, seeing that it came from the creators of Danganronpa, Love, was already very exciting. But then seeing that it was a game specifically dedicated to you being a detective in this really cool sci-fi, apocalyptic city setting, I was so hyped. This game came out in 2023 and is a fantasy mystery adventure game where you play as Yuma Cocohead. Yes, you heard me right. Yuma Cocohead. That's your name. And your cool sidekick, Shinigami, who totally is very appropriate. Where you work for the World Detective Organization, where you're heading to somewhere called Conai Ward, this always raining, very dreary, very cyberpunk looking kind of place where a lot of bad stuff is currently going on. And we're going there to find out what. Along the way, you'll meet a fun and crazy cast of characters, with some of them having forensic fortes, which in this game is kind of like their ultimates from Danganronpa. One specific skill that they're really good at that can help them investigate crime scenes. I mean, this really spans from a broad spectrum of things. For some, it's dressing up in disguises. For some, it's viewing a previous crime scene when the first person who witnessed it saw it. For others, it's rewinding time. You could just do that, but the way that you go about solving them is exactly what I would expect in a game like this. Shinigami enters you into this mystery labyrinth world every time you try to solve a mystery, where you have to take your solution keys or evidence, which is kind of the same as truth bullets in Danganronpa, to go throughout the labyrinth answering questions and completing contradictions with your solution keys to try and find the culprit and solve the current case. This game, as well as Famicom Detective Club, I would say had a pretty gaggy twist at the end. I remember genuinely being suspicious the whole time of one particular thing, and by the end it being confirmed. And for those of you who have played this game before, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but it was kind of wild to see the actual reveal. And for those who have not played this game yet, I'm not going to say a word because it's actually pretty crazy. So honestly, this game, it's not perfect. It's not, you know, one of the best things I've ever played, but I think if you're someone who enjoys Danganronpa, you love a good mystery experience, and some of these mysteries were actually really fun to go through, so I definitely recommend it. For our next game, let's get a little artsy. I'm of course talking about Life is Strange. Now, there are many games in the Life is Strange series that I could talk about. All of them are pretty great, but I'm specifically talking about the original. We're talking about the OG, the 2015. I'm talking Max Caulfield, baby. I mean, I remember when this game was coming out originally, and it came out in 5 separate episodes. You would have this like gaggy cliffhanger ending, and you'd have to wait for the next episode to come out. Like, this was lit. This, of course, yet again, is another adventure mystery game where you play as your protagonist Max Caulfield, who is an aspiring photographer who discovers that she can rewind time, which is just a crazy random ability that you just discover you have in college. One of the only things that I discovered in college is that I can't handle certain liquors, but you know, that's totally fair. You just get to rewind time. But throughout our story, we meet a bunch of different characters, and a bunch of different things start happening throughout Arcadia Bay that we then have to solve, and Max is trying to figure out how to stop this looming threat of an impending storm that's threatening the town. There's a bunch of crazy stuff that's happening throughout this town, and it kind of becomes a gimmick throughout the Life is Strange series that in each one you have a different element that helps you progress through the story and helps you solve mysteries. In this game, it's time rewinding. In other games, you get telekinesis and then the power of emotions, literally just being an empath. But what I love so much about the Life is Strange series, other than the amazing visuals and these super hilarious cringy moments, is that this game, very similarly to Until Dawn, has a lot of branching options in its dialogue and story decisions. One tiny little choice that you make has this massive butterfly effect down the line, and every single thing you do may impact you later on, so remember what you did. It's just so scary trying to think like, am I making the right choice? Oh my god, is this gonna impact me down the line? Did I just make the wrong choice? What am I doing? I love it, it's fun! So yeah, y'all should definitely play Life is Strange as if you haven't heard of it already. Now, of course, I have to talk about one of my personal favorites on the list today, and this I would say was my Ace Attorney series before I picked up the Ace Attorney series. Which is crazy because these games were actually kind of inspired by the Ace Attorney series, like many things on this list, and of course I am talking about the Professor Layton series. These games started to come out in 2007, and this is yet another puzzle adventure game series that's kind of like a point and click adventure at some points, and most of the games were coming out on the DS. You play as Professor Herschel Layton and his assistant Luke, where you're going throughout this London-based region where you're doing a whole bunch of investigating and puzzle solving with the citizens and friends you meet along the way, and there's usually one big mystery or thing that you're trying to solve in this overarching narrative and mystery for each game. And I'm so serious, some people are calling in Professor Layton like he's Ghostbusters. There's something strange going on in your neighborhood. Who are you gonna call? Not Ghostbusters. I'm calling Herschel Layton, because I need somebody who's actually gonna figure this stuff out. As I mentioned in the intro earlier, Diabolical Box is so good, but there are so many good games in this series that I highly recommend. This game in particular, I would say, definitely has a lot more puzzles and brain teasers, so if that's not really your type of thing and you'd rather stick to investigating and picking up clues to solve a case, then I definitely would check out one of the other games on my list today. But if you are definitely a more puzzle solver, this game's got it all for you. This is your type of thing. I remember as a kid just getting so easily frustrated by these, and I really tried to not look up the solution to so many of them, but sometimes I just had to. My little kid brain could not for the life of me figure them out. And when your mom's downstairs calling you for dinner, you gotta hurry up and you gotta finish the puzzles that you're doing. You can't bring it downstairs to the table, you gotta have etiquette. Also, I know it's not a video game, but I gotta talk about it because it's easily one of the biggest parts of the reasons why I wanted to make this video today, and it's because I'm obsessed with watching Detective Conan. Like, I have been watching a couple episodes a day, and I'm obsessed. I love how each episode is like its very own little mystery to solve, and I love trying to piece it together myself and seeing if I can figure it out before Conan does. Like, I just get really excited about it and picking up the evidence and seeing the new clues. It's really fun, and if you are any type of mystery person, as I've been saying throughout this video, this is a show that is a must watch. You absolutely need to pick this up. I don't care if you're one of those people that's like, I don't like anime, it's not for me. Well, girl, I don't care, because this show is awesome. Also, Ron is an absolute queen. I will not be accepting any other opinions because there are no other opinions. She's amazing, she's great, and she is everything to me. And lastly, I just wanted to go through a quick little lightning round of other games that I didn't have that much I really wanted to say about them, but I just really wanted to include them in this video because they are games that I have played at some point, or I've had an interest in playing. I've watched people play them, and so I just really wanted to talk about them because now would be the time. When I was younger, I used to watch a ton of YouTubers play through Heavy Rain, and that was actually one of the games that I would purposefully find new YouTubers just so I could see new people play and have different opinions of the things that happen in this game. Heavy Rain is like this dark mystery kind of your choices matter in the grand scheme of things while you're trying to figure out what's going on type of game, and I think if you're in for a more dark type of mystery experience, this is definitely a game for you to check out. I mean, this game, you've probably heard of it at this point. It's been around for a while. I think it's gotten remastered at this point, so play that version, I think, if you're looking to play it at this point. But I may not remember everything about this game since it's been so long since I played it myself, but I do remember being gagged by one of the twists of it. I, of course, also have to talk about Frog Detective. Frog Detective came into my life once again, very similarly to Famicom Detective Club, through a random Nintendo Direct. I saw this game, and I needed to have it. I needed to have it. I didn't care what it was. I didn't care if the mysteries were actually legit or not. I just knew I needed to play this game, and it needed to be a part of my life. And now that it is, I don't regret it one bit. I even have a freaking plushie for the Frog Detective in my home. That's how much this game impacted me. For this game, it is just silly little mysteries and silly characters, but what really treasures this game to me is its dialogue. The dialogue and script writing in this game is 10 out of 10. This is peak. This is probably some of the best dialogue in a video game I have ever seen. I was actually out loud laughing to myself playing this freaking game. Don't let that fool you. There is still a mystery to be solved at the end of the day. It's a little bit more of a silly mystery to solve. So this is the type of game of if you enjoy something humorous and fun and lighthearted, but also has that detective spirit to it and figuring stuff out very slightly, then this is definitely a game for you. I know I recommend it. Also, I do have to mention that throughout my detective game craze, I did at one point take a gander, a very brief and quick gander, towards Detective Barbie. Yeah, I don't know what type of actual mystery solving was happening in this game. And look, I loved the Barbie movie, so I'm not here to judge nobody. But this is not one of those games that I have played myself. This is a game that I have only seen other people play. But I think this game, honestly, for what it is, it's super silly and it looks really cute. I had to give a shout out to the girls because Barbie, she's out here doing it all. And of course, she's got to be a detective too at some point. The last random game that I wanted to include in this video, I actually saved this one for last on purpose because I am actually curious if this game, first of all, if I should play it or not, and second of all, if it's actually a mystery. I genuinely don't know because I'm trying to actively not spoil myself just in case I do play it. I'm of course talking about Digimon Story Cybersleuth. Now I know what some of y'all might be saying, but Dominic, I saw on your page that you posted a short talking about that you played the game. Well, yes, I actually did. I played the first hour and then I put it down and I haven't touched it since. Which is not to say that I disliked it. It is absolutely not to say that I disliked it. I just remember at the time that I picked it up, another game came out, which I don't even remember what game it was. That's really not helping my case. But there was another game that I really wanted to play and I got very distracted and I couldn't help myself, and so I transitioned from playing Digimon over to that game, and then I just never revolved back to Digimon. So I'm more or less including it in today's video so y'all can slap some attention to my brain, and if y'all think I should play Digimon Story Cybersleuth, let me know. I know everybody's out here playing Time Stranger now. I've already missed the curve on that one. But I myself don't currently have a PS5, and I don't think I'm going to be able to spare the rent money to buy one at this point. So I think I'm going to have to wait until it comes out on Switch 2, inevitably this summer. So I'm really excited to do that. But I'm going to try to get around to playing Digimon Story Cybersleuth. But let me know down in the comment section below if you think this is a game I would actually enjoy. And if it's actually a mystery or not, because it says Cybersleuth. And I know you get picked up by a detective in the beginning of the game, but I don't know what happens after that. Do you actually investigate things? Like, let me know. But there you have it. There are some of my own personal favorite detective and mystery games that I like to play and have played throughout my life. Let me know down in the comment section below which of these games, if you've played any of them, are your personal favorite from my list today, and let me know if there's any games that you would have added to this list, because remember, this is my own personal list, and I'm sure there are plenty of mystery games out there that I did not mention today, and I would love to take recommendations. Girl, I am here for. If you haven't guessed by me making an entire video about it, I kinda love mystery and detective games. So if you recommend something to me in the comments that I missed in this list, let me know, because I'll probably go ahead and play it. And yes, Digimon Story Cybersleuth is probably going to be on that list. If you're looking for more content by myself, we usually do a lot of Pokemon content here on the channel, so here are some other videos for you to check out if you're interested in that type of thing. But for now, y'all, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my magnifying glass and my tweed outfit, and I'm gonna go back to solving some mysteries. See y'all gamers in the next one.